We've been following this story from the beginning, the wrongful death lawsuit filed by the King of Pop's family. We're getting word that Michael Jackson's kids, Prince and Paris, will testify at the trial. Here to break it all down for us is Annalise Getz. Thank you for coming back to Primetime.
Thanks, Taylor, for having me.
I am so, this is mind-blowing to me. Can you tell us what is going on with this trial?
Okay.
Makes sense to you?
Let's do a quick little summary of what's going on both sides, then we can talk about the kids. So you're going to have AEG come out. Well, let me back up a couple steps. What's going on is the Jackson family has sued AEG Live, which is the promoter of This Is It. It was the concert that Michael Jackson was working on when he died, and they've amongst many other claims that they've made, they've said you negligently hired, supervised Dr. Murray, who ultimately ended up killing and was convicted of involuntary manslaughter for Michael Jackson. And they're suing for $40 billion. So wow. It's high stakes. It's big money here. And they said a lot of the claims were taken out, but all we have left is this one claim. And AEG's response is, he wasn't our employee. In order to be successful on this claim, they have to establish that Dr. Murray worked for AEG and did not work for Michael Jackson. And AEG is going to say he didn't work for us, and we don't have a contract saying that he worked for us. He was Michael Jackson's physician before we even stepped into this role with Michael Jackson.
So what was AEG's position with the doctor? Was there a position there, connection?
Well, the Jackson family is certainly going to argue, yes, there was. He was an employee of AEG Live, and
is
he was
he?
Well, that's the question. All this $40 billion is going to boil down to whose employee was he? Was he Michael Jackson's, or was he AEG Live's? And as a part of what it basically is a business law issue, whether someone is or is not an employee, it's going to turn into a circus of a jury trial, because we're going to have his kids on the stand. They've put a subpoena out for Dr. Murray, who's currently serving his time in jail. The artist formerly known as Prince is on the witness list.
I love how you say that.
I mean, they're going to have a star-studded witness list. It's going to be a 3 to 4 month trial, and it's going to be they're going to cover all of the information from his molestation trial, all of the alleged drug use that he used to be involved with up into his death. For a very, very private man, his entire life is going to be on trial.
Jeez, is it going to be a public trial?
Well, right now, so as of yesterday, they started jury selection. That'll take about 2 weeks, and the judge is also considering whether she'll allow cameras in the courtroom. The Jackson family is supporting CNN's motion to allow cameras in the courtroom.
Because they're probably getting money, backdoor money, right?
Not necessarily backdoor money, but the Jackson's position is they want to have as much emotion around this case as they can. Yeah. They want to win on emotion. And if you have cameras in the courtroom, then you're going to have all of Michael Jackson's fans watching constantly. They're going to have pickets and events outside of the courtroom. It's going to be that hoopla that the Jackson family is going for. And AEG Live is saying, we don't want the cameras. Keep them out of here.
But the thing is, if they're saying the doctor was an employee of AEG Live, they have to have some sort of documentation to say that, because that's such a bizarre statement. Unless they paid the doctor. Did AEG Live pay the doctor?
Let me give you let me tell you what the Jackson family is going to say. They're going to say, you required Michael Jackson to have a physician because he wasn't coming to these practices, these rehearsals. They required that he have a physician, and that they hired Dr. Murray. And they're going to rely on an employment agreement that was never actually signed by AEG, but had been negotiated and essentially by the doctor, and essentially was an at-will type of employment. They were paying his salary. And this, so it's business litigation basically. In business litigation, your smoking guns are 22s, they are emails and text messages. And the Jackson family has just fantastic emails that AEG executives wrote. One of them saying they need to remind Dr. Murray who he's working for, AEG.
Oh, done.
If you put it in a text message or an email, it's going to come out.
That's what you always, paper trail, paper trail, paper trail.
If you put it in
always
email,
either have a
lawyers
paper
like
trail
me
or
will
don't.
Find it. We
Yeah.
will find it.
Yeah, that's right.
I promise you that. And so they have this arsenal of all these amazing emails. Well, they're horrible for AEG, but they're great for the Jackson family.
Well, I didn't realize they had all that evidence.
They've got a lot of evidence. Plus, they have just the emotional heartstrings of having those kids on the stand talking about how much they miss their family, how much they miss their father, and how their life is never going to be the same, which it won't be. I mean, there's truth to that.
I have a question. Have they tried to settle AEG Live?
Nothing that's been publicly stated. In fact, they've made statements to the contrary. And they're taking a good position on this. They're saying it's a tragedy what happened. He was the king of pop. It's horrible to lose a performer like this, but it has nothing to do with us, and we will not settle on this case. $40 billion. They're putting it up to a jury, and it's a jury in Los Angeles. I mean, that's the center. That's the mecca of the king of pop's empire. I think it's risky. I think it's risky.
Yeah, man, this can go either way.
Yeah.
Yikes.
I think
because if it was pure legality reason, if they never sign the contract, they don't have a contract. But
they
the
don't
emails,
have a contract, but they
the
can
paper
argue
trail.
it's an at-will employment.
Right. Wow.
And they were paying him, and he's performing services.
Right. So you'll come hopefully every week and break it
I
all
would
down.
love it. It's going to be a 3-month trial.
Done.
I like it, Taylor.
All right. Awesome.